So over here, we've got our special African wild dogs. And there's a pack of about 18 that have spread out over here in the shade. And then if you have a look over to the other side of Tom, we've got some hyenas that are waiting.
Yeah, probably only one that you guys have in view there, but as we came in we actually managed to spot 2 or 3, maybe even a fourth one, and they're all basically just lying up here in wait, seeing the wild dogs here as a bit of a meal ticket in a way. So it's quite an interesting relationship that we see quite frequently in the sands, or out in the Greater Kruger in general, or anywhere where you're lucky enough to find wild dogs. So yeah, it's obviously very very stagnant at this stage, but lovely to see them anyway, lying up so nicely.
We've been quite fortunate that it's been nice and hot for the last few days. So during the heat of the day, these dogs have been resting up quite nicely. Looks like they did eat something this morning. You can see there's nice bellies. So we're hoping that there's potential that they might get going in the next little bit.
As we've mentioned, guys, extremely fortunate, lucky, however you phrase it, but this is one of the most endangered predators in Africa, and it's not something that we get to see every day out here, which is special in itself. And yeah, it's something that we all as guides and many of you that have been out on safari before are often, it's a really hot topic and something that we're out to find. Not quite the big five, but it is a high profile sighting, so to speak. So yeah, unfortunately at this stage, if we look at a continent wide population, not looking the best at the moment, but we do have quite a few successful kind of reserves or natural areas where we're starting to see numbers bolstered to a certain extent, but unfortunately still classified as endangered. So it's one of those things that we really have to appreciate every time we see them, and especially sitting out here on the banks of the Sand River, which you might have seen when Brandon kind of panned over towards the hyenas there. It's an extremely special moment, especially for so many of you guys sitting back at home. It must be a lovely change of scenery, which we're happy to obviously share with you guys. See the head up there, Brandon, that younger hyena.
Starting to sniff the air, trying to listen, see if there's any sign from the dogs, any sign of movement. I hope.
Yeah, hoping.
These hyenas are actually taking a bit of a chance. When they follow the dogs like this, if they do get too close, the dogs will often turn on them. And if dogs have been hanging around in an area for a while, you'll often see hyenas with good bite marks on their backsides. The reason they have the bites there rather than anywhere else is it's not a good idea for the dog to take the hyena on front on. And remember, those hyenas have those incredible crushing jaws, and they'll deal with the dogs quite quickly.
So this little bit of movement that we're seeing from the hyenas might instigate something on our opposite side here with these wild dogs. It's been fairly relaxed up until now, but as we've mentioned, this is an age-old rivalry where they're not too happy to be with one another, but it's one of those things which we see quite often, and of course the hyenas are the major kind of benefactors from this relationship. If we take another look at the wild dogs here, this is one of the most successful predators in Africa. So it's quite an irony, you know, saying extremely endangered, but definitely one of the most successful hunters. And as we've said, these hyenas will capitalize on that time and time again. You know, being physically much larger than the hyenas, than the wild dogs rather, it's quite easy for them to outmuscle the dogs once they have taken something down. Especially if the numbers are fairly even, or of course if the hyenas outnumber the wild dogs, there's often not much of a chance for them. Doing exactly the opposite of what we hoped.
Yeah. I think with this being such a large pack, these hyenas are a little bit more wary.
There's a bit of a stretch.
I'm listening to another hyena, a third hyena, but not worried.
Hyena coming in.
Alright guys. Alright, I think what we're going to do is we're going to give Trevor a shot. Trevor's managed to find something else to have a look at. So we're going to quickly give him a shot and see if he's had some luck. And we'll cross back to him in a second. Trev, come in, Trev. You unlock there. After that, we're going to be crossing back to you guys in about 5 seconds.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you had an amazing sighting of the wild dogs. For us, we always get so excited about such rare animals being on the property, and always so exciting to see, and I really hope you enjoyed that sighting. So while you were watching the dogs, we were following up on the Ottawa Pride, who had finished off a kill this morning. We went back to where they were and they weren't there, and Stewie picked up the tracks and has done a great job, and he's tracked them down this road, not too far from where they were, and he's done a fantastic job in managing to find the Ottawa Pride lying here with very, very full bellies.
Lots of heavy breathing, fast respiratory rates. As you can tell, I'm sure, the size of their stomachs, quite bloated and full from a very decent meal that must have fed most of them very well. In particular, the big boy in the middle there, you can see he's enjoying life, and sprawled out there. A lot of them exposing their stomachs, radiating a bit of heat off. They're metabolizing now and digesting that food, so that's going to take a little bit of energy, and of course it's also pushing up into their diaphragm, so their lung capacity is perhaps a little bit more restricted, which in turn then means that they have to have a slightly faster breathing rate. we are missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 2, so perhaps lying in some of the other shady spots nearby is one of the older lionesses, and yeah, that young male there as well. He's next to the big male, so we are missing 2 lionesses in the group. Must be nearby.
The lioness lying closest to us, she's the mother of the 3 younger ones, one next to her, and that litter there is 2 males and a female, and the one that just rolled over there is one of her sons. You can see, I think he's just trying to accommodate space for that big belly. These lions have been doing incredibly well. I know a lot of our guests that have been here before, we've seen the otters go through a lot of trials and tribulations, but they seem to be doing really well. So the 2 older females, they are here. They're possibly just lying up in the thicket, maybe getting a bit of peace and quiet. The old Matimba male, he's still hanging in there. Even though he's such an old male, he's sticking around and he's doing well. You know, often with lions, in particular his case, you know, feast and famine is a big thing for them. And we find, you know, since he started in a coalition of 4 and he's down to 1 now, but as long as he stays with this pride, you know, he has a chance of being able to scavenge food off them and survive. You know, he's still been roaring and behaving territorially, which is great to see. You know, he'll play his part in protecting them. Many people wonder, why do lions sleep so much? And we often wonder how much energy they gain from just having been a carnivore. So it is known that the lions are nocturnal, so predominantly active at night and during the cooler periods of day. But as you can see, with these very full bellies, they've got no reason to go anyway or to utilize energy to hunt again. However, they are opportunistic, but as you can see, I don't think they're going to be that active for now. So I'm sure they're going to sleep here most of the evening and perhaps only start moving tomorrow.
Like Trevor says, I can't see any reason why they'd want to move from here. There's now deep shadows starting to form with the sun's going down later in the afternoon. There's a cool breeze that's started to blow through here now, so they're all out in the open and making the most of that breeze. And in the shade there, it must be quite nice and comfortable and cool for them.
So next week Monday, if they're still lying in the same place sleeping, there's a very good chance.
You'll probably be right.
Yes. So just take memory of this shot here, because they do sleep a lot with full bellies. So I think what we'll do, we're going to move on a little bit. We're going to let these lions sleep it out. Hopefully next week Monday they'll be moving a little bit. Sorry guys, we lost a bit of signal there as we drove off there. But before we end off for this afternoon, I know there's been a lot of talk on the social media networks about Tlangisa, the female leopard, and her 2 cubs. So what we can tell you is that yes, she does have 2 cubs, and they are about 10 weeks old. We are familiar where the den is. However, this afternoon mom isn't around or at the den, and ethically we will never do a game drive or go into a den site that potentially will put those cubs in danger. They are doing very well, but it is most important that we can only view them when mom's there for her to protect them. So in the next couple of days, we'll post 1 or 2 videos that we got in the last few days, and we really hope next week Monday that mom will be at the den and will be able to show you guys her 2 new cubs. So enjoy your week, enjoy some of the posts coming,